What's up, friends? Welcome back to Heal You, the place where healing, hard work, and intention meet. I'm your girl, Shai, and today we're going to have a special moment to honor someone deeply personal to me, my daddy. This is our special Father's Day episode, and it's inspired by one of the most vulnerable and powerful episodes I've ever shared. It's called Dear Daddy. And if you haven't listened to it yet, go back and press play. It's down further in the podcast episodes. But in that episode, I opened up about my daddy. Raw, real, and fully present. And today, I want to expand on that moment because love, healing, and intention don't stop with the first conversation. They evolve. So are you ready, friends? I hope you're able to share this episode with someone who's truly important to you. Let's get started. You know, one thing I can always count on is this. My daddy will always be present, whether he is in the shadows, quietly holding space, or right in the forefront when I need strength the most. I'm grateful that my daddy is always here. You know, he has this way of showing up without ever needing to say a word. You know, whether I can reach out and just say, hey, daddy, can we talk for a second? In that moment, if I break down and cry, or we both break down and cry, and we just have a moment to talk, it's those moments that become our conversations. Not always a lot of them, but each and every time. They're unfiltered, they're sacred, and they're full of love. It's an opportunity for me to listen to my dad and understand exactly where his heart is, what he's experienced in life, what he's learned in life, and how much the evolution of individuals is important. Whether daddy is sending me a text that lands right when I need it, or giving me a hug that somehow makes the world quiet down, if even just for a moment. Or a simple peck on the cheek that reminds me I'm still his little girl, still covered, still loved, and always safe as long as he's around. Those moments remind me that I'm never alone, not in my grief, not in my growth, not even in my becoming. You know, there are moments in time where I can reach out to daddy, and guess what? He's always there, without hesitation, without conditions. I cry, I talk, I ramble through the emotion. We argue, we step away from each other, but at the end of the day, we listen to each other and we value our feelings, we value our thoughts, and we're learning to value our boundaries. Those are the moments, the kind that don't need fixing, the kind that you just hold on to. You walk away with no judgment, no pressure. It's just presence. It's his presence in my life, mine and his. And it's the bond that we have learned to grow year over year over year. There's nobody like my daddy. Nobody like my daddy. And there's something sacred about the love that he has always always given me. You know, it's the kind of love that creates safety. It is. It shows up even when words are few. It's the immediate, yes, I'm here for you, and whatever you need, regardless of what's going on. It's the steady presence, the unspoken, I've got you, the powerful protection that doesn't always need explanation. I know that for me, my daddy will always be here. There's no distance that is big enough that he won't show up for each and everything that I say I need him for. And I know and understand that everyone's experience with their dad or their father or their daddy isn't the same. For some of us, it's painful, and I get it. For others, it's a bond that has shaped their identity. And for me, friends, it's actually both. You know, my relationship with my dad has been layered, filled with beautiful moments, hard lessons, but always the kind of growth only time and intention can bring. And I am grateful for the time that we've both put into who we are. You know, there are many times for me when life has been hard. And guess what? Daddy has always been there, um, in different ways, in different venues, with different reasons. But he's always been there. He drove to North Carolina many times to visit me as a child. And what he's learned is just seeing him gave me strength. He unknowingly saved me from abuse with his presence alone. And when I thought I was an adult and I could step into the world of being a parent, I called him and he sent me a bus ticket that changed the entire course of my life. Throughout the years, countless drives back and forth to North Carolina. Daddy, the chauffeur, making sure I got there or Diamond got there. The moments of guidance, the tears we cried together, always together, and the hugs I've always needed more than I have ever said. And you know, this last 8 months of my life have been hard. And my daddy has been sitting in the background and doing only what he knows how to do. But there's one moment that I will forever cherish. And it came after the loss of my babe. I'll never be able to experience the pain that words just can't touch. And there's one thing that my daddy said in that moment a few times that has always echoed in my spirit. And it was, I hope I leave here with the one I love by my side. That statement has carried me. It's my constant reminder That love in every element doesn't always need to be explained to be felt. It's reminded me over and over again of the depth of love, of how love is the kind of connection that's not loud, but steady. And each time I think about that statement, I feel a strength that I had no idea I had. And that strength, that evolution, I pull it from what I've learned from my daddy. The love and strength comes from here, from him. The love that's been steady, unwavering, healing, from the love that provides me the guidance when I need it, from the truth that when words fail, presence still speaks volume. When we can't say exactly what it is that we're feeling in our heart, just being present, being in the moment, being there in the shadows can speak volumes. You know, when I wrote Dear Daddy, it came from a space of healing and release. I was early on in my healing journey. It was a place where past meets present and where I finally gave myself permission to feel everything at once: love, loss, gratitude, and grace. I was finally ready to speak to the little girl inside of me. You know, the one who wanted to be seen, held, and protected. What I didn't understand then was I already had that. I just hadn't allowed myself to experience it or understand it. I wasn't yet there in my healing journey. But in that moment, I was ready to speak to the man who did his best. The man who didn't always have the words, but he gave what he could. And what I've learned since then is this. You know, healing doesn't erase history. It honors it. It gives history context. It allows you to tell the truth and still hold on to the love. You know, that letter, that episode was more than closure. Like I said, it was a beginning. It was me choosing to be intentional with how I view our story. The story of just me and my dad. The story that no one else can experience. It's our bond. It's our relationship. It's the evolution of our growth. And it is our healing. It was me saying, I see you, Daddy, flaws and all, and I love you anyway. And I will forever, ever be grateful for our relationship and what we have, what we go through, and what we grow through in our way of healing. My daddy is where my motivation comes from. If you know me and you know him, you understand my tenacity, my ability to keep going even when life knocks me down. You know, my daddy is where I get my smart mouth, but also my smart mind and my ability to be creative in so many facets of my life. I've learned how to speak my truth because I've watched him speak his. I've learned how to stand in who I am because he never asked me to be anyone else. Always myself. The firm handshake when you meet someone, the talking to someone, right on, so they can see in your eyes that you're serious about what you do. The ability to be courageous in your knowledge and share it wherever you have the platform, even when you don't. When I think of my daddy, I think of strength and sacrifice because he has sacrificed a lot. I think of the ways he shows up in silence, how his lessons weren't always spoken, they were lived. He has his own phenomenal story to share. I've learned discipline from him. Even when he think I wasn't listening, I've learned discipline from him. I learned the value of showing up, of being consistent, even when life gets hard. But most of all, I've learned that love is imperfect, and that's okay. We're humans. We're not perfect. Being intentional on how I receive and reflect on my daddy's love has helped me to elevate how I show up in every relationship. Early on, I was rocky. I didn't understand what love meant, what I needed to do. Just like my daddy, I thought I was always right. But watching how our relationship has evolved over the years, I've learned how to be soft without being a pushover, how to forgive while still honoring my boundaries, and how to live fully in the moment, loving all that life is offering me. It's his day. Through him, I've learned to appreciate grace, strength, and truth all at once. And more than anything, I've learned that with all of my siblings, he has a connection with each of us, one that he cherishes and honors. And I've learned that throughout the years as he's grown, he continues to learn how to meet us as his kids where we are, even when he thinks he's right. And we have to remind him that we value him, but life does what life does. We each learn individually through our experiences. So I want to pause here for a moment and speak to all of you, my friends, who may not have had a strong or positive relationship with your dad, your father, your daddy, whatever you call him. Maybe you're at the point in life where you're still healing. Maybe you're grieving. Maybe that person you needed in your life was never present. I get it, friends. I can relate. Because I, too, have a strained relationship with a parent. And I know how deeply that can shape our sense of love, trust, and belonging. I've talked about it, and I'll continue to talk about it. Let this be your permission to honor whatever emotions come to you today. There's not one way to feel about a dad. It isn't cookie cutter. It isn't written in stone. But there is one thing, friends, that I know for you, for sure. You deserve love, real, intentional love. You, friends, regardless of where you are with the father figure, the daddy, the person in your life that raised you, you deserve true, intentional love. And if it didn't start with that person, it should always start with you. Write the letter, friends. Speak the truth. Let the healing begin with your voice. Honor yourself by understanding, by letting it go. You're healing yourself. You're learning how to grow and be better at forgiving and letting things go. All right. All right, let's get started on one thing. There's one thing I know about daddies. They're going to make us laugh, shake our heads, feel loved, angry, all at the same time. I don't know about y'all, but my daddy has these little quirks. Every time we see each other, he's always happy to see his kids. He'll snap those most unflattering pics, always on my bad side. And he will always post the worst pic on social media. He's always going to be the first one to post to say happy birthday. He's going to honor you unexpectedly in his own way. He's going to speak his truth when he wants to. And that's what makes every relationship he has with his kids unique. But it's those little things that stick. Him being a jokester. The hugs that last long enough to remind you you're safe. The peck on the cheek. The sound of a text that comes through that says, "You good?" And in that moment, you are. Whew. In that moment, you are. You're good. Today, I'm honoring those small but mighty moments. The laugh, the smile, the joy that is part of the healing. Whew. Because, friends, guess what? This is Father's Day. It's their day. It's not the day for women to step in and say, "I've been both." It just isn't. It's the day to honor them and send the text, make the call, or simply say thank you to the man who has loved you in his own way. Because, friends, at the end of the day, whether they're loud or quiet, in our lives or in our hearts, daddies leave an imprint that lasts forever. And I'll remind you, if you don't have that daddy, that father figure, spend some time for yourself in silence. Honor yourself by writing down the words of how you're feeling. Help yourself through the healing process. Cry. Get through it. You owe it to yourself to release the tension in your mind or in your heart and honor yourself on this day. And to my daddy, thank you, Daddy, for the way you've always tried, the way you continue to grow, for the times you didn't know how, but you showed up anyway. I see you. I see the man you were, the man you are, and the love you carry. And I honor it and you today. And to every daddy, father, dad, uncle, brother, every person who has stepped in those shoes, your presence matters. Your intention matters. Your effort matters. You are appreciated. And to every listener, remember, love isn't always loud. It isn't always easy. It can be hard at times. However, love is needed. Honor the little things that come with love. And sometimes, friends, love starts with us. Happy Father's Day. Until next time, I'm your girl Shai, and this, my friends, is a special episode of Heal You. You know, the place where we speak truth, we honor healing, and we lead with love. Have a great day.